I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul.
Fans won't like this, by the way. But
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab. But at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah.
The guy who finally put an end to this Jake Paul thing, right? If he goes out there and puts Jake Paul in the dirt, he's going to be heralded. He's going to be a hero.
Eddie Hearn recently reacted to Jake Paul's interest in fighting Anthony Joshua, and his response was far from positive. Hearn warned that Jake is making the biggest mistake of his career by even considering a bout with the former unified heavyweight champion. He said this isn't just another Netflix event or a quick payday, it's a choice that could end Jake Paul's boxing career altogether. Hearn stressed that Joshua's strength, experience, and size would overwhelm Paul, crossing the line from entertainment into something genuinely dangerous.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But, as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world...
Reports suggest Jake Paul is close to finalizing a heavyweight fight with Anthony Joshua, possibly taking place next month in Miami and streaming worldwide on Netflix. This would be a major leap for Paul, who has mostly faced unconventional or lower-level opponents, while Joshua is a two-time unified heavyweight world champion who last fought in September 2024. Eddie Hearn confirmed that talks have taken place. The idea was originally meant for later, but the cancellation of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Tank Davis fight may push the plans forward. Although no deal is official yet, Hearn admitted the opening for this high-profile event has come sooner than expected. Still, he emphasized that Joshua's main goal remains a world title shot or a fight with Tyson Fury. While the Jake Paul matchup is possible, it is not the priority. Rebuilding Joshua's path to the championship is.
There's been some conversations with myself and Nikisa. I think Jake and AJ have spoke as well. You know, from our point of view, if we're going to have a run-out fight, why not run out against Jake Paul? You know, for a lot of money. So there's ongoing conversations there. I can't tell you it's close. I can't tell you we've seen a contract. But if he genuinely wants to fight Anthony Joshua, I don't see why we wouldn't have a chance to do that fight. But, you know, our focus is on really a charge for the World Heavyweight Championship and a charge at Tyson Fury. We can't control that either. So, like I said, that's why I said to you, absolutely at the moment...
Hearn later expanded on his concerns, saying a fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is far more serious than people realize. He called the matchup extremely uneven, highlighting the massive difference in size, experience, and punching power. According to Hearn, the danger for Paul is real and not something that can be dismissed. He warned that the fight could severely damage Paul's boxing career, or end it altogether, and that such risks must be weighed carefully, even if the financial payoff is huge.
Let's do what AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on.
Mike Coppinger of The Ring also raised major concerns about the potential fight, saying Paul seems motivated mainly by the large payday rather than sporting value. Coppinger reported that talks are advanced but depend on key broadcast and sanctioning decisions. He warned that Joshua's size, strength, and experience create a major mismatch and real safety risks.
Coppinger's reporting
He also noted that it's still unclear whether the bout would be a professional fight or just an exhibition, as no official rules, sanctioning plans, or regulatory details have been released.
Here's a breaking story on Ring Magazine. Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalising a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami. Sources tell the Ring Magazine's Mike Coppinger. What do you make of that?
Well, Anthony Joshua was talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it, and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way. But
I don't like it
no,
either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah, definitely not.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be licensed because it's a really dangerous fight.
Do we know if it's an exhibition or a real fight?
We don't know yet, but I don't think they should be allowing Anthony Joshua in a ring with Jake Paul. It's dangerous for him.
It can't be a real fight, because if it's a real fight, Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul's head clean off. So it can't be a real fight.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
I don't want to see a man decapitated in Miami
yeah,
in a ring in December.
Listen, and that's what will happen. So
many experienced boxing figures have openly criticized the idea. Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora slammed the possibility of Jake Paul earning a WBC ranking, calling it disrespectful to the sport and to fighters who have spent years working their way up.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers, to get those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Tuesday decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. gave his own take, admitting the fight could happen if Joshua decides he wants it, but only if the matchup makes sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Jones reminded fans that Joshua is a real former world champion and pointed to Joshua's destruction of Francis Ngannou as proof. He said plainly, the same thing happens to Jake Paul. If you think someone who isn't a full-time boxer can beat Anthony Joshua, you're crazy.
I want to change subjects just a little bit here. And Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Will Jake Paul become a world champion?
No.
Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if you catch somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson, he caught at the end of their career, the chances are much higher. Because now it becomes more of a 50-50. You got a guy who's better than him, but the age factor. You understand me? And that's the only way to balance it for him to make it a 50-50 fight. Somebody who's on his level at the same age, those guys have too much experience. You understand me? So he's not going to beat those guys. But you find a guy who is past his prime, who has the mentality further than his, but past their prime, it kind of evens the stakes.
UFC champion Leon Edwards also weighed in, offering strong support for Anthony Joshua if the fight happens. In comments reported by MMA Fighting, Edwards made it clear that the matchup heavily favors Joshua, echoing the widespread belief that Jake Paul would be stepping into a challenge far beyond anything he has faced before. Although the fight isn't confirmed, Edwards' comments reinforce the view that the matchup is a major mismatch.
I don't know if you've seen but this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
I've just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something, because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously, for the KO. So yeah, when is it? You know?
It's going to be next month. They're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah, I'm going AJ for the win.
Cheers.